he realizes it's all zeros and ones. So what I got from that is basically the world you see with your eyes and your five senses is the zeros and ones. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, you might believe yourself to be this thing here, which you are. You're obviously experiencing this body, but that's the problem. People they literally believe they're the body. They don't understand that they're experiencing the body. And the moment you believe you are the body, you're gonna fear death and you're gonna be insecure because the body eventually dies. The thing that's experienced in the body doesn't have a time, doesn't have an age, doesn't have a beginning or an end. And the reason people become insecure, why a lot of women are insecure, is because they believe they're the body. And same way the body dies, the body loses its beauty. So women are constantly insecure about that. And the third problem with identifying yourself with the zeros and ones is that you take on an identity of Jack from up the street, Rosie from up the street. And the longer you keep that name, is the longer you won't be happy because that person, Jack up the street, Rosette up the street, whatever the names are, that person has memories linked to identity. A lot of them are good, but there's a lot of bad ones as well. So the moment people say your name, you're basically reacting as that person with all them bad memories. You're constantly carrying around all these negative things that happened and how certain situations went. So you're always carrying around all this pain basically. And another problem with identifying yourself with an identity of like a name or a character is that that character has a certain ego, and the whole point of the ego is to protect it, to keep it existing. The last thing the ego wants to hear is that they're not the ego, they are not Jack from up the street. So the longer that you're identify with Jack from up the street, the longer that you will be Jack from up the street and have carry around all the pain from that character. So the reason I call this zeros and ones is because 98% of the population believe they are the zeros and ones, and they can't go beyond the zeros and ones. They can't go beyond the words and the definitions. But in order to create the zeros and ones, in order to create the zeros and ones, they must go beyond the zeros and ones. Because someone that's limited to zeros and ones can't ever believe they can create something. They can't ever believe they're good enough. They can't ever believe perfect is possible. Like they they've cut off their full potential to be this character that the public knows them as. So in order to create zeros and ones, you have to go beyond it. You have to realize you're more than what you think you are. And you'll be more happy as well because you don't have to be stuck with this character and all the things that happen to this character, and only this character does this because this I'm this way and I'm that way. Do you know what I'm saying? So basically it's like there's so much things you would probably enjoy doing or probably enjoy saying or or being. but you've basically shut all of that off just to be this one character. And a lot of the time, you're not even happy with this character. You don't love yourself because you're basically not allowing yourself to explore or try out different things because you've got this image to uphold and you've got all these traumas and like memories and he done this and she done that. So it's like, how do you expect to be happy? And if you don't like yourself, which you do like yourself, but them bad memories, you can't run away from them. You can't unsee them. So as much as you love yourself, you also hate things about yourself. And if you hate things about yourself, how can I expect you to like me? How can I expect you to like anyone else? And if the whole world is doing that to each other, it's basically it's hell on earth basically. Like everyone's smiling or talking behind each other's backs. Everyone's jealous of the next person because they might be doing this better than them and you might be doing something better than the other person. And it's all down to everyone not liking themselves and not knowing that their full potential, that they're all things. So how do you expect to be creative? How do you expect to, when everything's calculated, when everything has to be, because this identity that I'm presenting to the world thinks like this, so I can only think like this because I'm this character. You're basically you're destroying yourself. There's so many other things you can be and do and say and have and try, but you choose to be you. And you, the longer that you continue this sort of thinking, the longer you're basically not going to be happy, and the longer you're basically not going to feel like basically it's the wrong move to make, man. You need to recreate yourself and be a lot more than you are, man. Stop worrying what people think. Stop caring about what they're gonna say. Stop caring about what you're gonna say because the you that's saying it is that same identity. You need to stop listening to that voice and become your new voice. Become the voice that has that voice under control and takes that voice on a journey with you instead of you on a journey with that voice. So, but the only way to do that is to go beyond the zeros and ones, go beyond the words and definitions, go beyond the identity, go beyond the five senses, recreate yourself to create zeros and ones. And when I say zeros and ones, that could mean like a sentence. That could mean saying you love someone to someone. That could mean saying I appreciate you to someone. But the person you are right now, maybe you don't feel confident enough. Maybe you don't feel like you're good enough. Maybe you feel like it's going to be a waste of time. But that's still the same limitation that I'm talking about. Because if you got rid of that identity and you didn't have them thoughts, you would go and do it. Do you understand? So go beyond it and change your life. Or let life change it for you. So you gotta pick. It's either you let life control you or you control your life. It's either you let this identity control you or you recreate your identity to control that and become unlimited